Coming up on Unpacked, while cleaning the gun, he didn't know you were in the room with him.
No, accidentally, he pulled the trigger and I was shot. I never got a chance to see how God created me as I got shot at the age of 3.
So do you remember when you woke up from the coma?
I said to her, did he shoot me again?
Two incidents in her life where she could have died, but she didn't. She's here to share her story. Let's unpack. Pholosho Mathabatha is a 27-year-old currently residing in Nelmapius on the outskirts of Pretoria. At the tender age of 3, an incident at the family homestead on Christmas Day would change her life, seeing her grapple with self-esteem as she grew up. Years later, another accident occurred, and this time she had to fight for her life. This is her story. Let's unpack. Pholosho, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, what was it that used to happen around Christmas time, December, when you were younger?
Christmas time, like whenever somebody tells you about Christmas, you already know the spirit that is hovering worldwide. We will be so happy. As kids, we couldn't wait to wear our new clothes, to eat those delicious meals. Because back then, rice, we didn't eat it as quite often, as much. But that time, we were so excited because as families, we would come together to celebrate Christmas time because it's family time, I get. So as family, we're to celebrate the day. Yeah. So all the family members came, the cousins, uncles, aunts. So we all came together to celebrate the Christmas time.
So when you were 3 years old, what was different about this particular December and what happened?
So this December, I was very close to this cousin of mine, though he was a bit older than me, way older than me. So that time, I think it was my mom and my uncle's wife in the room. So apparently they were sharing the word of God. And my cousin went to the room because he thought that he didn't put his gun in a safe place.
So what was happening with your cousin that he would even have a gun?
My cousin was a policeman.
Okay, and at that time, he had just got the job?
Yes.
Yes. And so he was about early 20s?
Yeah.
Okay, so he just got a job as a police officer?
Yes.
And then what happened with the gun on that day?
So I was very close to him. So I was always following him. Wherever he goes, I was always after him.
Yes.
So on that day, he went to take his gun and put the gun to the safe place. So I was after him, but he didn't notice that I was after him. I think he was wiping the gun. So accidentally, he pulled the trigger and I was shot.
So your cousin at the time, while cleaning the gun, he didn't know you were in the room with him?
No, he didn't know I was following him. Yeah.
And then the gun went off. So who else was in the house and where was everybody?
It was my mom and my uncle's wife in that room.
In the same room?
Yes.
And did they see he was cleaning a gun?
Yeah.
So they saw he was cleaning a gun, but he didn't see you?
They all didn't see me. Yeah.
So when the gun went off, where did it shoot you?
It shot me here. And then the bullet went down, had his way through my neck and came out at the back. Yeah. And thereafter, they rushed me to the nearest hospital. And yeah.
And obviously you were small, you might not remember the day.
Yeah.
What do the family tell you or your mom tell you about the realization that you've been shot?
Okay, my mom told me, like, after she saw that I was shot, she ran away. Because,
Natsugile.
yeah, she thought I was gonna die. Because back then, there was that much. So a gun and death, they really are more like the same thing. So she ran away thinking my daughter is going to die. So she didn't want me to die in front of her. That's why she ran away.
So ne go setse mang mo roomong a na tshaba?
It was my cousin and my uncle's wife.
So then, did they rush you to the hospital or did they call an ambulance?
They didn't call an ambulance. They went to look for a car, to hire a car around the village. And then they got the car and then they rushed me to Groothoek.
Which is the hospital in the area, Leboakom.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Barra, what happened when you got to the hospital?
What happened is when I got to Groothoek, I was badly injured. So I didn't stay long at Groothoek, and then they moved me to Pietersburg. And again, go Pietersburg, I got dula sebaka. And then I was then transferred again to Harangua.
And that was because of your injuries?
Yes.
So what were those injuries?
I lost my teeth. And I have this scar on my nose because of that bullet.
So in terms of, I get it, it's enemo.
Yeah.
So it shattered this part of your face.
Yeah.
Ne? And it came out
At the back.
At the back.
Okay.
So after you got transferred a second time, did the doctors have to operate?
What I remember is that because of they were all loose. All of my teeth were loose.
And because you were 3, it was your first teeth. When you grew up, did the teeth come out again?
No, they didn't. And I had so much problem growing up without teeth. Because I realized at those early ages, I realized, okay, my friends, they don't have teeth as well. Because they really, in the age, and then with me, I realized there's something different with me. And then I then developed an anger. Okay, from now on, I'm no longer going to brush my teeth until God I decided wabusha back.
Yo. So you just stopped?
I stopped.
So which are the teeth that would never came back? Was it just at the top?
Yeah, at the top. And like just my jaw.
So talk to me about this anger that you felt growing up.
I had so much anger growing up. And sad part is that no one was aware of what I was going through at the time. Because for them, it was just like, God, we are grateful for the gift of life. Lord, you were able to keep her. Lord, you were able to sustain her. And that's all that mattered for them. They didn't bother to take me to counseling. Like, I didn't receive any of those. You see, so I didn't feel beautiful. And every time someone or you are beautiful, I would get so upset. Yeah, because I felt like I'm not beautiful, I'm not attractive, because of how I felt inside. Like I felt like the scars on my face are nothing compared to the scars that are within.
So what exactly were you angry about? What was those feelings that you were not able to share and articulate?
I was angry because I never got a chance to see how God created me. As I got shot at the age of 3. I never got to see how beautiful I was because I think I was beautiful. Mara, after the shooting, after the incident, everything just went. Like self-confidence, self-esteem, like everything.
So when you were growing up, when did your family or your mother tell you what actually happened to you?
Oh, what they told me is that I shot myself. I was playing with the gun, and somehow I then shot myself.
That's what they told you?
Yes.
But when did you find out the truth of what actually happened?
They didn't really tell me the actual truth, but I just like had them talking. But because there's nobody who came to me directly and be telling me, "Ore, this is what happened to you. That's why you're looking this way."
So when did you discover? How did you know, Jorge, it actually wasn't you playing with the gun, it was your cousin that was cleaning it?
I discovered that like recently so. And I was shocked that like indeed this is what happened. And because it was just a mistake, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let everything be the way it was.
But when they were telling you, Jorge, you were playing with a gun, and you asked them, where did the gun come from? What did they tell you?
They told me who was the owner of the gun.
Jorge cousin wa gago.
Yes. But I didn't understand how could I play with the gun. Yeah. So that didn't actually make sense. Mona. Mara anyways, I decided not to go much into that thing.
So in terms of normal circumstances, if anybody goes to the hospital with a gunshot wound, it's the protocol that the police must be called. So did the police get called when you were at the hospital?
No, I don't think so.
So what happened? Was there a case? Did anything get opened?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yes.
And what do you think the reason is?
I think they were protecting my cousin because they didn't want him to lose his job. That's why they said it was me who shot myself. Understand? Yeah.
But even so, one would expect that even if you shot yourself, there could be a case of negligence and people could go and check, actually, this shooting happened with a police officer's weapon. So that was never, ever investigated.
No.
Did the bullet come out completely?
What they told me is that they never saw the bullet. They didn't see where it went. Like they didn't like have any trace of the bullet.
So where is your cousin today?
He's around.
So he's still working and he's living his life.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with him?
Yeah.
And how does it make you feel that this situation happened to you and he, you were told a lie and now he's still around? How do you feel about it?
The fact that this thing was a mistake, just helped me to like take everything, slowly.
So you don't think at all that he could have been more careful with a gun? Because even if he didn't know you were there were other people in the room.
Well, I think though, like those people, he just thought because of they are older, maybe, and he was not even aware in the gun there was a bullet.
How, when you share the story with other people, what do they say to you about it?
When I get to say this story, they were just like, all of them, they will be surprised because like every now and then I'll be like, I shot myself.
Because that's the story you've
that
known.
I have. Yeah.
Yes.
I shot myself. I could be like, oh, how?
But when you tell them the truth, what do they say?
They don't really say anything because I come from a small village, like where everybody knows everybody. So I think somehow they knew. And the fact that that thing was just a mistake, maybe they understood.
And did this incident and your anger while you were growing up affect your relationship le mme wa gago?
My relationship with my mom, it's just normal. Yeah. So because I can't say like I have to blame her for whatever that happened. It was not her fault again, Lena. So it just happened. It's a mistake after all.
So now when you were around 24 years old, something else happened. Tell us about that.
So when I was 24, my grandfather, who I was very close to passed on. It was in the year 2019. So we were all like at the side of Gauteng. And then now we have to go back to Limpopo for the funeral. So during the week when we were so busy running the errands, we were sent to the nearest village to collect some things, few things. And on our way there, we got involved in a very horrible car accident.
Who was driving?
My other cousin.
So not the same cousin?
Yeah.
Another cousin, and who else was in the car?
It was my two cousins. Yeah.
So you guys got in the accident. Do you remember what happened in the accident?
I don't remember anything from the accident, but I was told that we were trapped in that car. So the people from around that place we were involved in a car accident, they had to go to their houses to look for some things to and then
And did you guys bump another car?
Yeah.
So it was another car involved in the accident. Okay, so you were saying they were looking for things to try and get you guys out of the car. And what else happened?
Unfortunately, the other passenger from the other car passed on. So what happened is that both of my legs got broken and my other cousin's legs got broken. And then me and the lady that passed on, we were rushed to Relebogile Hospital because we were...
The same hospital you went to?
Not the same.
Not the same hospital, but the same area?
Yes.
Okay.
We were rushed to Relebogile Hospital because we were badly injured, me and the other lady. Unfortunately, she didn't make it. And I got there, I stayed for like 3 days at Relebogile, and before I was transferred to Landmed, Ahmed Kathrada. I was transferred there. They called ambulance to come and collect me that side. And when the people, ambulance, they couldn't take me. Because if Ra insist she might die.
The way.
So they opted for chopper. So chopper flew to Relebogile and then it brought me to Lens. So, and then from those 3 days, after that, I went straight to coma.
So what do you remember? Because you're in the car accident. What is the first thing?
Okay, the only thing that I remember is me leaving my house, getting in the car, driving to where they sent us. That's the only thing that I remember.
So what is, after the accident, what is the next thing you remember? Was it waking up in hospital? Was it waking up in an ambulance?
I woke up in hospital. And the first thing that I said to my mom was... when I woke up from coma. I said to her, did he shoot me again?
What?
That's how deep that thing was. How deep that thing has affected me.
And what did your mom say when you asked her that?
She said, no, you were... she tried to explain to me, what really happened. No, you were involved in a car accident. And I looked at myself and I saw scars. I was like, Mom, no, you are lying. Because I see the scars. Say, it's a bullet. So, and then she said, no. She told me, in a car accident. Yeah.
It's so amazing, Jorge. After all those years, that thing is embedded in your brain. Yeah, Jorge, they shot you. And the first thing you thought when you woke up is you've been shot again. So after that whole thing, you've been transferred. Now you land up in a coma.
Yes.
Is it the doctor that induced the coma to protect you, or it was your body going into a coma?
It was my body going into a coma because they worry, from Relebogile, I wasn't responsive in a way. So that was decided already. I might go into a coma. So I give it a more lens vele, I went straight into a coma.
How long were you in the coma for?
For 22 days.
22 days.
Yes.
That's almost a month.
Yeah.
And while you were in the coma, was your family also coming this side by go check?
Yeah, because my parents are this side.
Yes,
That
in
side of
Gauteng.
Limpopo is only my grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember when you woke up from the coma?
I don't remember quite well because when I was in the coma, like I had things. I don't know if I should call them dreams or what was happening, because I would see myself, but on the streets. But those streets, they are as if on the other side. So that it doesn't make sense for me right now. So I've been like having those kind of dreams or visions, whatever they were. And I remember the time mo ke tlo tsewang ka yona. Mo ko gae go na le this big river, Lepelle. So I saw myself on the other side, crossing that river, going home to my grandparents' house.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because your grandfather had passed away. Do you think that those visions or dreams were you possibly being about to die to cross over to Ntate Mogolo?
Yeah, that was the case, because like those things that I saw, they were as if on the other side. You was or something. You will get like the explanation or this thing So it was as if I was at the other side of this life. So, and the sad thing is that I couldn't bury my grandfather. And
because you were in the hospital.
Yeah.
So the funeral went on without you.
Yeah, and we were very close. To a point where I was even calling him Papa. And that's very sad to me, because even now, whenever I talk about him, I still cry because I didn't get the closure that I needed to.
So now you wake up from the coma, and what did the doctor say to you, Jorge? How bad is the stage? You mentioned your legs were broken, but how bad were the injuries?
Okay, while I was in the coma, the doctors told my mom that I have high chances of losing my memory. So through God's grace, I did remember like people and a lot of few things. I only forgot like Lucidinyani. So my family was very happy, excited. I still remember them and some of the things and the events.
And physically, what else had happened to your body?
So physically, this left leg was crushed, and they had to remove some bones.
Is it from your knee?
Yes.
Yes.
And again, that means my left leg is shorter than the right one. Hence the limping. Yeah.
And where were the legs broken?
This one was broken here, and this one was broken twice at the knee and yeah.
So when you woke up from the coma, I mean, you were strapped up and everything. How long did your recovery take?
My recovery took a long time, because even now I'm still using a crutch. Remember, this thing has happened 2019, and till this day I'm still struggling. Yeah.
How long did you stay in hospital for?
I stayed for 2 months. Yeah, and I remember this other night, I stood up.
More betting?
Yeah. I stood up, and when I stood up, all the nurses ran. Like, they were all shouting like, yo, mutshwareng aneng fatshe. And I didn't understand why, because normally I can walk. Little did I know my legs got broken.
Sure. Were you not in pain when you stood up?
No, I wasn't in pain.
Because you weren't aware what was happening.
I wasn't aware. I wasn't like, I didn't even understand where I was and why. I was even there.
Did you hurt yourself when you did that?
No, I didn't. I didn't hurt myself because they rushed and they made me to sit down.
So what then happened after that? Because you got home, your grandfather's been buried without you. Both your legs are broken in more than one place. Were you in a wheelchair? What was that time like when you are now out of the hospital and you are recovering?
So now when I got out of hospital, every now and then when I have to go to the mall, when I got there, I have to use a wheelchair because I cannot walk or for longer distance, And, going out it's very stressful for me because, I'll get tired motivating, things like that. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, sharp, and I'll get things like, today, maybe accident might happen. So let me just relax.
In terms of the accident, are you fearful when you're in a car?
Sometimes I am fearful, like of the driver or driver, and then like the first thing that will come to my mind, I don't want to be in another accident again. Yeah.
And how is your feeling around guns in your life?
I'm afraid of a gun. Like there was a point in time where I couldn't watch a movie. Every time I go to the TV, I have to come with a blanket so that when the scene Israel, I will cover myself. You see?
Did it give you post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yes. And some of the things I'm still like struggling with them even now because I didn't receive counseling.
Are you telling me that to this day you've never had one session of counseling?
Never. And because this thing, it's my struggle. I feel like everybody who is around me, they are not even aware of what I'm facing, of what I'm going through, like daily. There will be days where I won't even sleep. I won't even sleep for weeks. Because every time I try to sleep, I will just think of those things. They will just come in my mind. And because of that, I can't rob.
Have you ever considered going to talk to someone?
I wish I could have, but then I didn't have enough money to go to the counseling. Yeah.
Look, I definitely think there are counseling options that will be available to you that don't require you to pay, through the public system. It might be a process and it might be a wait, but I hope you do pursue that opportunity to do so. That kind of trauma that you went through, do you feel like you cheated death twice in your life?
Yeah. God did it not only once, but twice in my life. God said no with my life. He gave me another chance to this life. This thing of, Lord, I thank you for the gift of life. Life, it is a gift indeed. Because the things that we go through daily, like some of the things, like really God is fighting for us. And sometimes we see more asinna, God carried me through this. Because on my own, I couldn't make it.
What lesson do you take from the first time you nearly died when you were 3 years old? What lesson do you take out of that experience?
To be grateful for life. Waking up every day, I should be more grateful. And another thing, we should appreciate the looks that we have. I lost my beauty at the age of 3. So to everyone, asaling the way aling anything can happen. Ne? But then you should appreciate yourself the way you are right now.
Are you at a place where you feel like you love yourself as you are?
Well, I cannot really say that I love myself, but I am trying by all means to love and accept myself the way I am. There will be days where I'm a person who loves the mirror. You see the mirror. I'll go in front of the mirror. I'll stand there for like 30 minutes, like just staring at myself. But mostly when I stare at myself, I tend to look at this side more than this side, because I feel like this side is not me. This is not the real me. And this side is me. So
is that because of the scars on the side?
So I'll look at myself. Sometimes I'll try to convince myself, be like, you're beautiful. Oh, I love you. And after a few seconds, I'll be like, oh, Pholosho, you are just lying to yourself. You don't really love yourself the way you are. You know, because I'll think, had it not been for this, I could have been beautiful. Because there was a point in time where I would take toilet papers, I'll roll them nicely and try to cover the gap and try to have a vision of how I would have looked if it hadn't been for this incident. You know, that's how much of the struggle I was.
If no one has ever told you, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
Those are scars of an incident, but you as you are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And I hope, because I know other people telling you doesn't mean anything if you don't feel it.
Yeah.
I hope you reach a point where you can feel you are beautiful. Time has passed on, and this is the face and the body and the being you have been gifted with. And I'm so happy that you still have the gift of life. But I hope you can take it a step further, get to talk to someone, and also just start to feel the beauty that you are not seeing. Thank you so much for coming to share your story, for being so open. And I can tell, Jorge, there's still a lot of healing that you need to do. And I hope you're able to do that in time. And I know at some point, Jorge, you were studying and you had to let that go because of your injuries. I hope you're able to find yourself in a place where you find your life purpose. And there's something you're focused on and energy that you are directing at something that brings you joy and happiness. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hashtag Unpacked with Relebogile. If you do not believe in miracles, I hope today's episode is one that convinces you that they exist. Because if one person can cheat death more than once, then pretty much anything is possible. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night. Next time on Unpacked.
Besiclose nombali kakhulu.
Lesego was nale hyper. Ali bubbly.
Umbali bekana 15 years. Makalahleka.
Unali bolesego they've been kidnapped.
So the guy wathatha isibhamu washaya umbali ngesibhamu enhloko. So bamgcine lapho umbali. Azange basambona.
Thank you so much for watching Unpacked with Relebogile Mabotja. Make sure you subscribe to my channel where you can get to watch more episodes. But more importantly, you can be part of our online community. Comment down below, share with us who you'd like to see on the show, or what story you'd like us to discuss. We love engaging with you. Keep it coming and don't forget to subscribe.